Well, hello, my name is Terrence Rizell. Thank you so much for viewing my video today. I am a master's level mental health therapist. I have about 25 years experience. I work with both children, adults, adolescents, families. I provide mental health counseling for anxiety, depression. I provide family counseling, relationship counseling, issues, uh, employment issues, relationship issues, communication issues. Uh, so I thought I would put together a video today. I work with a lot of children. I work with adolescents, and I work with children and also adults. And I noticed that parents deal sometimes with very difficult children, and many times, and this doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. Dealing with a difficult child can be a challenge to anyone. And as a parent of a 21-year-old that I raised on my own since he was 6 months old, I know that raising a child can be extremely difficult. I only had one child that I raised and almost killed me, so I really appreciate people that can raise multiple children. But I have learned a thing or two raising my own child and counseling for years, and I would like to provide for you some guidelines, some steps, some principles that you can use to maintain a relationship with a difficult child. You know, you can have three children, and every one of them can be absolutely different and require a different set of parenting styles for each one. When you're talking about personality difference, temperament issues, and then you're also talking about possible behavior problems and even mental health issues, these children require a different set of skills, communication skills, skill sets, strategies, in order to help them to become the healthy people that we all want them to be. I want to provide you with some guidelines that will help you to maintain a positive relationship with a difficult child. And I'd like to give you one principle that people find a little uncomfortable, but I want to provide you these principles that if you will use them, it will guide and help you to maintain your relationship with your difficult child. And the first suggestion I have for you is become very intimately acquainted with a few very powerful phrases that if you learn to use well and sincerely and strategically in given situations, it can make all the difference in the world. The first phrase I want to introduce you to is "I'm sorry." I am so sorry. It's amazing to me how difficult adults struggle with this phrase. Somehow, in the minds of some parents, we think that we always have to be right, we always have to be correct, and we can never admit when we're wrong if we're going to maintain our power and our stands as a parent. Understand, relationship building isn't a fight. Relationship building isn't a competition. It's a willingness to give and take to build a relationship with someone. And part of the process for that is the ability to sincerely and honestly look your child in the eye and say, "I'm sorry." One of the reasons for this is because sometimes we need to do it because we make mistakes. We say things that are wrong. We do things that are wrong. Sometimes we don't really understand what's really going on with our child. And for that, sometimes we have to say we're sorry. If you will do this, sometimes "I'm sorry" is all somebody wants to hear. I've talked to hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of children through my career. And I can tell you one of the major complaints of children is they have parents who are never able to say they're sorry, even when they know that they're wrong. So understand, if you can use these words, this phrase, it can have a powerful impact on your relationship with your difficult child. I want to give you another phrase that you can use. These are powerful words. Never underestimate the power of these words when they hit the ear of another human being, especially a child. I was wrong. If you can learn to use this phrase, it can get you out of a mess with your child. I have seen these words in counseling sessions with children and their families that when a parent used this word, the whole defensive stance, the whole defensive attitude of the child decreased when the parent just said, I was wrong. These are powerful words. They lower people's defenses. You got to understand that sometimes people maintain relationships with the attitude of being in a fight, me against you. And we must bring down those type of walls. And one of the ways that you can do that you can bring down and de-escalate a relationship from a offensive, defensive attitude or perception is to use the phrase, I'm so sorry and I was wrong. You can completely get a person to drop their defenses if you can effectively learn to communicate these phrases to your difficult children. I want to give you another phrase that's very powerful. Learn these phrases well. You will need them very often, actually more often than you actually think. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Now these phrases are powerful in and of themselves, but if you can use these phrases in a combination forum of communication, love, and understanding, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. These are all very powerful words that help another human being to lower their defenses. Now, you must make a decision. And fathers sometimes have a greater difficulty with this than mothers do. So let me give a special message to fathers. You must make a decision. Do you want a relationship with your child or do you want to win a battle and be right? Let me tell you, you can be right. You can end up winning a battle and you can end up losing your child. I know children that have not talked to their parents in years, in months, and in decades. I know parents that because they were not willing to humble themselves and use these phrases in sincere attitude, they've never met or seen their grandchildren. And they have to live with this because it was so important to them to be right. You must ask yourself, do you want to be right? Or do you want a relationship with your child? You got to make a choice because oftentimes you can't have both. And at the end of it all, after I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of parents, it really isn't worth being right to lose your relationship with your children. Sometimes it pays off to be wrong. Another point I want to bring to you is you can combine love, support with boundaries. You can combine love, support, and boundaries. I see two extremes in parenting. One is over permissiveness. Let the child do anything to avoid confrontation. And then I see another extreme, totalitarian parenting styles where you lay down the law. You're going to do what I tell you to do. You use cruel and unfeeling words and cruel and unfeeling statements and demands that destroy intimate relationships. There must be a balance. Do you know that you can lay down boundaries with your child and still express love and support? They can be combined. They can be implemented simultaneously. I encourage you to do this. Implement love, support, and healthy boundaries. Hey, you know, I love you. I support you. And because of this, I'm going to limit you doing this. Because of that, I'm going to say no. Because of this, I'm going to lay some boundaries down to protect you because I care about you and I love you and I don't want anything to happen to you. You can combine love, support with healthy boundaries. So let's review. Love, support, healthy boundaries. You know what this means? This means in your communication with your child, with your difficult child, you don't always want it to be from the perspective or the attitude of corrective communication. That means when you say things to your child, when you communicate with your child, let it be implementing care. Hey, how you doing today? How you feeling? I noticed you were a little sad. You want to tell me what's going on? You want to let me to help you? Don't let 90% of your communication be correcting your child, telling them what they're doing wrong, telling them what they should be doing that they're not doing. Let 90% of your communication be positive and 10% of your communication be corrective. It'll balance it out and it'll make it much easier for the difficult child to digest when you do have to correct them. This will also require you to use another skill, and this is called picking and choosing your battles carefully. When you see your child doing something wrong, which shouldn't be too hard to do because we're all imperfect human beings. So if you decided to set off in an adventure to find me doing something wrong, you would have a full-time job. You'd have to quit your job to stay behind me to find everything I'm doing wrong, because I'm telling you it's a lot, because I'm an imperfect human being. So you can always, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you can find something that I'm doing wrong. But do you really want to do that? Do you really want to waste your time and energy in counterproductive actions that will end up destroying or seriously impeding your relationship with your difficult child? Choose your battles well. Is it worth it? Assess if it's worth it. Is correcting the child right now worth it? Is it worth what it will do to the relationship? Is the actions and their behaviors worth the consistent and constant correction actions? Maybe you can deflect it by expressing care. Hey, you busy right now? Let's go get an ice cream. Hey, feel like going for a walk with me to walk the dog? Hey, help me out with something. Will you help me out for a minute? Maybe using redirection rather than confrontational correction all the time. Or you can use positive, supportive. Hey, I want you to know I'm proud of you. Hey, I want you to know I care about you. Hey, and I can tell you, there's nothing wrong with combining this with a hug. You know, there's people out there, there's children out there that have parents that haven't hugged them in a very long time. Sometimes a hug speaks louder than words. Nothing wrong with hugging your child. They did a study that showed in order to grow healthy, the average human being needs hundreds of hugs a day. Personal contact, a touch, a hand on the shoulder, a squeeze, a handshake, touching them, expressing love, care, and support. So you can combine these things so that the times that you do have to administer corrective action, it's softened so it's more digestible to the difficult child rather than continuous nonstop corrective action. So let's review. Using these powerful words that have been given down and handed us for centuries that really work. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Being able to choose, do you want a relationship with your child or do you want to win the battle or be right? Using love, support, and boundaries in combination. using wisdom and good judgment and picking your battles, picking the things you want to focus on and correct, asking yourself, is it worth it? Is the behavior of my child worth me implementing a corrective action that's going to seriously impede our relationship? Is it worth it? Is this serious enough? I had a parent once that wanted to go into a corrective action because the child dyed his hair green. The kid wasn't using drugs. The kid wasn't robbing stores. The kid wasn't disrespecting adults. All the kid did was dye his hair green. Is that really worth it? Is that really worth developing bad, negative feelings between you and your child? Is that worth it? Or is it wise to let this one go, to let this battle go? I would say that would be one to let go. Corrective communication, balancing it out. Did you just correct them 2 minutes ago? Is it worth it to go correct them again? Is it worth that? Or maybe should I put in maybe some love support with the boundaries instead of consistent and constant corrective action? And then again, encouragement, support, being positive. Positive words, encouraging words used on a regular basis can make corrective words more digestible to a difficult child. I want to thank you for taking this time to listen to my video. If I could be any help to you, please visit my website, therapyrizel.com. You can contact me at trizel@capellauniversity.edu, or you can call me at 330-255-9227. As always, if your child behavior is really concerning to you, get a professional counselor. You're welcome to contact me at any time. I can either provide you professional counseling or direct you towards someone who can. Thank you so much, and I hope to hear from you soon.